Oh, was that the? That's.
Welcome to the Flame Central Game Day post-game show. Yes, that is it. The siren hits. It's time to go. Brought to you by Frank Good Builders. Glad you're joining us here this evening. Flames 1-0 on the season. It wasn't a pretty one, though. They take it by a score of 41-24 over the Campbell Fighting Camels. Good thing it wasn't a Wednesday. Hump Day. Camels might have came out on top.
It's possible.
Yeah, it
totally
could have been possible. Like I said, a win is a win is a win. This one, though, was not pretty to get things going.
It sure wasn't. It was sloppy. You know, we talked about it a little bit at halftime. You've got the turnover early in the game. There were several penalties. I think 11 penalties in the game for over 100 yards. That's the length of that field and some.
Yeah.
It's super ugly game. You know, you hear a little bit about not lining up properly, getting some ugly penalties. Missed a field goal, kicked one out of bounds. Fortunate to get the win, but plenty to clean up going into next week.
No, definitely. The delay, I think the delay helped the team out to be able to kind of make the adjustment. The big ball that actually turned into a touchdown prior to halftime really gave them some momentum so they can feel good about what's going on. But it's apparent that Coach Chadwell is not feeling the way things rolled out today, and those guys are going to be in for a tough week of practice. I could just feel it.
Yeah, lots of emotion on the sidelines from Chadwell. He's actually standing by with our Emily Austin.
Well, Coach, that was a grind early, and things got a little chippy late. What were your early takeaways from this first victory of the season?
Well, one, thankful for the victory. There were some good things. There were some just bad things, some things that we don't need to play the game the way we did, you know, and so you always worry about some of that stuff, but I apologize. It's embarrassing, and it's on me, just some of the foolish penalties, and we'll get that out of them. But I think we got to win, you know, and it's another opponent that you don't know a lot about. They're obviously coming to get us. We talk to our guys all the time. When you got that target on the back, it's different, and we saw it tonight. So good thing is it's a win, and we can clean up from it.
You guys committed to the run. What do you like about what your offense showed you tonight?
Well, I thought we did control the line of scrimmage, but we should, to be honest with you. You know, there's some good things. We didn't panic. We had some mistakes, but we didn't panic. It got to 27-17 there, and we just kept it going. And so I think the thing that on every phase, we just beat ourselves some things. And I mean, we can't kick the ball in the dang inside the field right now.
I wasn't going to bring it up, Coach.
I'm bringing it up. It's embarrassing. And so there's some things that we got to clean up, but we'll figure it out.
You mentioned the new coaches not really knowing how to prepare for this stuff. You have that again in New Mexico State. How challenging is that, and what would you maybe do differently, or what did you learn from this time?
At least New Mexico State, you got one game on them, right? These guys, you're going in, and I thought our guys were prepared. I don't know what but they weren't doing anything necessarily that maybe we didn't see before. It's just actually knowing the type of players they have and all that. So I think our coaches prepared them well. I think the thing now is our next opponent. They play tonight, so you got a chance to see what they're about a little bit. They get to see what we're about a little bit, and they're going to watch us and think, hey, we can beat that team. I can tell you that right now. So all you people out there thinking we're going to the playoff, you better stop it. We're lucky to win a game tonight.
Thank you for your time, Coach. I have no doubt that you guys will clean it up this week.
Thank you.
Guys, back up to you.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. Walter, you said emotional, a little fired up, I'd say. Yeah, Coach Chadwell.
Chadwell, more like Madwell,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Not pleased, and obviously a lot of areas to clean up for this Liberty football team. No doubt, like Emily said, that they can get the job done. But I'm not saying, is this one of those wins where, you know, I know Coach Chadwell will love to come out and everything's clean, right, and everything's perfect. But at the same time, you get a win, and now you've got the ears of your team because they know that's not acceptable.
No, and this is a good thing. This is a good thing. You get away with something that you're really not proud of, but you see there's so much room for opportunity. You still got those guys that think that they're running off of the steam from last year and realizing, no, nobody is super impressed by what you did last year, and every week you're going to kind of have to come out and you're going to have to fight because everybody wants you.
You're exactly right. I mean, this could be an example of guys reading their own press clippings. You look and you say, okay, Liberty's a 38, 39-point favorite coming into this game. Not the case out there. So if anything else, going into practice this upcoming week, that's plenty of fuel for these coaches, for these guys to say, hey, you guys did not look good on Saturday. We got to fix this stuff.
Yeah, and definitely they will. All right, let's take a look now at our highlight of the game, brought to us by Fink's Jewelers. When you thought they were going to go into the half all tied up, there was a big play. Trayon Sibley making a couple men miss and then going 70 yards to pay dirt.
Caden Salter there, reading the field, takes a look, throws that 12-yard curl, and then Sibley does the rest. Breaks 2 tackles right there and decides, you know what, I'm going to house call this thing. Somebody's got to get us going. I'll do it.
Yeah, no, and he definitely lightened up this year, and we do see the benefit of it. You know, that top end is where you totally see guys start to diminish. He was able to hold the speed, made it all the way through, bow in there for 6. This really shifted the gears and really brought all the momentum back to Liberty University going into the half.
Yeah, Liberty going to the half, then come out. First drive was a good one for them in the third quarter. We take a look here at our final game stats presented by Haley's Appliances. Really, it's funny, when you look at the numbers on the right side, you're like, well, was it that bad of a night for LU? And Pat made a good point earlier on. It was kind of sloppy, oh, big play, sloppy, and more of that mixed all in between. But when you look at this from a numbers perspective, not all that bad.
All right, so now this goes back to a point we made earlier. There's very high standards for this team because this wasn't a good showing, right? Because we watched the game, but when you look at these numbers, you see what they still put up. What happens when these guys aren't shooting themselves in the foot and they're being the team and performing the way they can? They can be an excellent team.
Well, I'd say the big thing when they're not shooting themselves in the foot is the 81 yards and penalties. To me, that would be greatly diminished. Hey, we just saw moments ago Treon Sibley. He is now standing by with Emily Austin as well.
Here with the Flames leading receiver tonight, Treon Sibley. Treon, tell me about how good it felt to just get out there and play against someone other than Liberty.
Yeah. It was real nerve-wracking to start. You know, we've been preparing for so long, and just to get out there and have fun with my boys tonight, it was really exciting.
Tell me, year 2 in this system, what's different about going into it, year 2, knowing so much more about this offense?
Yeah, you know, just having, you know, that chip on my shoulder, you know, all the time, you know, and just staying focused every day and just giving all the glory to God, you know, one day at a time out here every day, you know, just having fun doing what I love.
How would you describe your relationship and connection, that chemistry with Caden Salter? You seem like you might be his favorite target this season.
Yeah, it's my roommate, too, in the hotel and everything, yeah. So, you know, we've been connecting a lot, you know, trying to get going, you know, be that 1-2.
What is the potential for this offense?
Man, the sky is the limit. You know, once we get everything, you know, and get our confidence where we want and get the ball rolling, we will be unstoppable. I'll tell you that much.
Early thoughts on what you think the offense needs to clean up before heading to New Mexico?
Just, you know, lining up, getting ready, and blocking a little better, you know. I think that's what we need to work on.
I have no doubt this coaching staff will get you ready. Treon, great game tonight. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you to Treon Sibley as well. Big night for him. 5 receptions. He was the most targeted receiver for the Flames, 109 yards in total. He was a big guy tonight, and then you see the chemistry there between him and K Salt. They seem to have a thing going on, and hopefully, you know, we talked about Flames need a #1 receiver to step up. I think he can make a case, and we'll get to him in a little while in Canyon, but tonight it was Sibley.
Yeah, and it's really fortunate that he was able to make that play going into halftime. Walter, you mentioned it. I think that really was the thing that kind of busted it open for Liberty, gave them confidence going into half, gave them a positive feeling going in, and then they were able to come out in the second half, put another quick touchdown on the board. That was a huge momentum swing, and that's what you want out of a leader that's been with the program for a while.
And when you think about a guy like Caden Salters is coming into a season really kind of knowing that he's filling out a bunch of new guys, it's always good for him to see a familiar face, somebody that's going to be where he needs him to be, that he can get the ball to and he can trust to do something after the reception. And so I'm just really excited to be able to see what happens with this talented receiving crew. And right now it looks like Sibley is leading the charge.
We talk about unstoppable coming from Sibley, talented, all those words. That brings us to Quentin Cooley. Again tonight, not missing a beat at all in this game. 16 carries, 110 yards, a touchdown, just under 7 yards per carry is average.
This dude is just a workhorse. You hand him the ball, you know what you're going to get every time. It's Quentin Old Faithful Cooley, I think is what we should call him. You know what you're going to get. He's going to stick his nose in there, he's going to get the hard yard, and then he's going to bust a couple here and there.
Listen, EA Sports, it's in the game. I'm sorry if I just got in trouble for saying that without
you're good. You're good.
Right? But this is what you want. You know, him being out on the field just brings a certain level of confidence to everybody. Not if he's getting the ball or not. And so you want to see this guy involved. You want to see him getting the ball in his belly because good things happen.
Do you own the game? Do you have it?
No, can I tell you something? I used to ball back in the day. I had a PS2 at the time.
Right.
And once they went to the 3 and the 4, that's when I kind of checked out.
Okay.
Man.
I was gonna say you and I should go like head-to-head game.
Oh yeah, no,
that'd be fun.
But you know what? I'm kind of all right. But once they started changing all the dynamics with the trigger on the angles for the, I said, you know,
you can get the back shoulder catch, the Pat Kelly.
It's just a little too much.
It's great.
It's a little too much. I get stressed out and throw it and want to play for real.
Fair enough. All right. We've talked about the offensive side of things. Defensively, a lot of speed and athleticism shown by the Flames. No sacks tonight, but 5 tackles for loss.
Yeah, I was happy. You know, we talked about this before the game. The D-line going to be an emphasis point this year. They were able to step up and make some plays. Outside of that 164-yard run, they did a really good job stopping the run. So that's going to happen in a football game. A lot to be pleased about with this this front 7.
Yeah, no, these guys play ball. You know, you definitely see the speed. There was not a whole bunch going on around the edge as far as Campbell University was concerned. They plugged up a whole lot. You know, even though they gave away about 310 yards in total, these guys came out. You know, there's still a lot of moving pieces that they have going on, but you feel good about how they can improve and how they can really close in and do well for the remainder of the season.
My one critique of the defense that gives me a little bit of pause. We saw some missed tackles tonight. You know, you saw Sincere Brown break away on the 36-yard slant, catch and run for the touchdown. He also had another play later in the game. Certainly correctable. You can fix that. That's just one thing that made me a little bit nervous.
But Pat, I think it's important to note that the majority of these guys aren't going full speed and really doing a whole bunch of hitting throughout the summer. And so this is really one of the first times these guys are coming out here and really hitting full tilt and leaning all the way in with intention. And so those are things that I think, you know, guys are kind of brush up on as it comes into week 2. So I'm not too concerned about that.
Got to continue to brush up on special teams play. You saw the frustration come from Jamie Chadwell. That can lose you a game, in all truthfulness. As time goes on, 3 points can be big.
Oh, absolutely. And Rhett, it's not just that. We see a missed field goal there that cost you 3 points there. We saw Brylan Green had a muffed punt earlier in the game that could have, fortunately, Liberty recovered. And then you see on film here, we kick the ball out of bounds. You give the team a very short field, ball at the 40-yard line. This is stuff, you can't do it. You absolutely cannot do it.
Yeah, no, because what it does is it robs you of momentum. That's something that you have to protect throughout the game, you know, and especially when you talk about not being able to convert on a field goal within the red zone, that right there does a whole lot in affecting an offense where they did a whole lot of work to get the ball in position for a score, and they can't even walk away with the points. That's really hazardous. And so I think there's some room that needs to be, you know, kind of improved upon, but those guys need to start getting some balls up in the air a little bit earlier than they expect to.
Either one of you guys, when you went through college ball, on a team where you had like a situation like that where it's just there was kicking woes?
Yes. We went. We were playing Virginia State for their homecoming. I went to St. Paul's College. We played Virginia State for their homecoming. We went to 4 overtimes. It was a muddy game, and our guy just wasn't able to convert any of them. It was like a kick. It was like a field goal shootout. And their guy was a bum, but he was the one that was able to make a field goal, and so they walked away with it, man.
Hey, well, let me speak a little positivity here.
Please brighten this up.
I had the privilege of playing with Matt Bevins, who was just a terrific kicker his entire career. Hit a lot of game winners.
Yeah.
So privileged to play with him. So we didn't have too many kicking issues while he was at the helm.
Good for you, Pat. That wasn't the case over at St. Paul's College.
I was just curious, like, you know, I'm sure it gets into the psyche of these guys, like, you know, especially. You come in game 1, you have a bit of a clean slate. You get the first one through. You say, okay, you build some confidence. Now it's like, oh, stink. Like,
hey, you know, it's
coach is mad. People know. Like, it can be bad.
It's like in baseball or in golf, you get the yips. You know, you kind of stay.
Totally.
You can't throw the ball to first base. It really is a thing.
No. And so for him, I just pray that this be a good weekend. He gets a good night's rest tonight, no nightmares, wakes up in the morning, and just starts to get some reps, man. That's the only way you get over it.
Let's continue on. New face to the team this year. Big number 5 receiver. You want that big target. This could be the guy. Canyon.
Yeah,
had a couple of big catches today.
He really did. You know, he had that 50-yard catch. But what I like about this is he makes the hitch catch right there, makes a guy miss, puts his head down. This is that big play that we see later in the game. He runs that deep post. Excellent throw, excellent catch. I'm excited about his prospects in the red zone later in the year because I think he's a big body. He's got that basketball type frame. I think he can do some good things this year.
And right now, you know, the verdict is still out. Who's going to be the big ball guy for this team? He looks really good. There's probably 2 or 3 other guys that can be in the running as well, but he definitely came out this first game, made a name for himself, looks really good, and now we're up here talking about him post-game. So good for you, kid.
I think there's going to be a couple more receivers before.
Oh, without a doubt.
I'd honestly say before the end of September.
Oh, without a doubt.
I think make a name for themselves.
Without
and
a doubt.
Chatting more about as time goes on. All right. Last but not least, we take a look here at the upcoming schedule brought to you by Lynchburg Regional Airport and Tourism. Next week on the road, New Mexico State Aggies without Diego Pavia. He actually won at Purdue today. That was a big game for him.
Yeah.
And then following that, Flames home for a double dip against UTEP on the 14th, and then ECU on the 21st. Big game. That'll be a fun one when we get to it down on the 20th. You going to that one, Pat? You hitting the road?
I got to ask my boss, and by that I mean my wife. So I'm going to let you know. She's my boss number 1, and my 18-month-old is boss number 2.
Gotcha.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
App State will be a lot of fun well as we continue on. Tons of great football coming up this year. And as we mentioned earlier, for every single home game, Flame Central Game Day will be airing an hour before kickoff. We will be there after every game as well for our post-game show. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back here against UTEP as you saw on the 14th. It's been a lot of fun tonight. We'll see you back here in a couple weeks.